Hello, it is me, Pearl from Pearl and the Prayers, and this is Tuned in Pearl. And we are here to take a look at oh my gosh, I can't even remember how to do this anymore. It has been too long. Also, I have to adjust this because I can see that in the camera and it's bothering me. There we go. Now it looks pretty. We're here to take a look at the balance, there we go, between the divine masculine and the divine feminine energy inside of self, understanding that whatever state we find this energy in, we can expect to see that reflected back to us in our interactions with others, in our external environment. And if we want to see change, we do need to shift and change the energy within, and hopefully this reading will help you do that. Ultimately, we hope that you shift into an energy where you are no longer dependent upon an outcome, because that's where the magic happens. It's been a long time. It's been a very long time since you've seen me. And there's a lot of reasons for that, mainly because I, in the last year, have founded a Center for Intuitive Arts, Sciences, and Living Intelligence, also known as SIASLI. And you can check that out at intuitiveliving.info. I have been very busy with that, and I am in the funding stage where we have a pitch deck ready and we are hitting up investors. So that takes a lot of time and energy, and consequently has taken away my energy that I'm able to put into my tarot readings. That, and I was feeling really lifeless around these tarot readings for a while. The repetitive messages were really getting to me, and I figured I needed to make a change so that the energy that I was reading would also change. Let's see if we've accomplished that today. We are going to be looking at the past energy, the current energy, and where that's likely to lead for the feminine and the masculine energy. We do not distinguish these as gendered energies, but just as energy within. However, the person of an opposite gender, or the person that might be focused on that is in the opposite energy, they might have one more dominant perspective than another. And so this can give you insight into the person that you're focused on. But ultimately, I'm hoping that you are really more interested in you, because the more you focus on you, the more everyone else does too. And that's kind of a beautiful side effect of really pouring into yourself. Okay. Divine masculine energy, top of the deck overall. How are we feeling? How are we doing? What's going on? What is happening with you? We've got here the Sun card from the Game of Thrones deck. And in this particular image, I'm not exactly sure what setting this is in the Game of Thrones story, which I have an idea of it, but I'm not completely sure. And that is making me feel like the masculine energy has an idea of what would really make them happy, but they're not completely sure yet. But it's coming to light. Like there's a lot of illumination here that's making them realize what would actually make them feel good, what would be in alignment with their inner child, etc., etc. So that's where they are in terms of what they're focused on, what they're thinking about, what they're kind of feeling right now. What's underlying this energy of the sun, and the sun is also about having enlightenment about yourself, especially that inner child stuff, things coming to light that really helps you to determine why you've been attracted to certain circumstances, people, experiences, and it's all stemming from something that is within you, that's been within you maybe since you were a child. And the underlying energy that's basically causing this person to want to shine a light and figure out, what's making me tick is this energy here, which is the Five of Coins. And the Five of Coins, or the Five of Pentacles in traditional tarot, this is the energy of separation, degradation. Usually, like, there's a beggar energy here. We literally see Arya begging. She's blind, so she cannot see. And she's reduced from this powerful warrior energy into somebody that's completely dependent on others. And this is part of her training. It's part of how she is refining herself in order to be one of the faceless men. which she ends up becoming, which is like this badass, like assassin, basically. So she's got to go through this time of suffering and struggle, really, to get to the light. Now, it's coming back to me that this might be Dorn, but it's like a hot climate, very hot, very it's a lot different from the other kingdoms that are depicted in the Game of Thrones. Their ideas, their attitudes, it's completely different energy than where Arya is from in Winterfell. So it's very contrasting. So I think what we have here is a masculine energy that knows that there is this happiness, this satisfaction, bliss, and fulfillment that comes from somewhere. And because in their past, they had this much more impoverished, like uncomfortable. I'm hearing like starving for affection, starving for attention. So because that's what they know, I think it's very hard for them to truly imagine what it feels like to be in this new place, this the summer, the sun, the warmth, all of that. So that makes me think that if this is in terms of a person that you're focused on, it seems like this person like has seen you and you are shining to them. You are like the sun. You give them a certain amount of happiness, or they feel a certain amount of happiness in your presence or experiencing you. And it's in dark contrast, or stark, literally Arya Stark. It's in stark contrast to their past, to the way that their relationships were in the past. Maybe they were more codependent. They had to like beg for attention and beg for energy. And you have kind of opened them up to something different or something new, where they don't have to beg. Like it's just given. It can be depended upon or relied on, something like that. Feminine energy. Where is the feminine energy right now? We have the 3 of staves from the Lover's Path Tarot, or the 3 of Wands from traditional tarot. In this particular instance, we have the feeling of waiting, seeing that sunshine on the horizon. It's like your mind can see it, but you're feeling like it's not quite arrived yet. And it's very tantalizing because you can see it there. And everything within you is telling you, just relax. Just know that it's there. Know that you can see the ship. The ship is inevitably coming in. Nothing's going to happen to it before it gets here. It's going to arrive. Be patient and allow this to happen. And I do think the feminine energy is used to this energy and doesn't love it, but I kind of sense a little bit more peace around this than there was in the past, because of what's underlying the 3 of Wands, which is the Triumph card or the World card. This is the closing of a cycle, all of the pieces finally fitting together, things coming, things turning out, where feminine energy really feels like she is on top of the world. Now, normally in this card, we would only see one feminine energy kind of stripped bare and vulnerable. But instead, in this deck, which is focused on love, we see a couple actually embracing here, Dionysus and Ariadne. And it's interesting because that story really is about kind of having to spin this web and things coming together. So I think Divine Feminine is feeling an energy of a little annoyed, but calm, right? Like a little bit like, I see it. Why isn't the cycle just closing? I can feel that it's closing, but like, why haven't I seen the rebirth? Maybe that's what it is. It's because this is behind us, right? It's underlying the energy. You've closed a cycle with someone, or someone that you're focused on has closed a cycle with someone. And there is a sense that, okay, we've closed that cycle, so now let's have the new one start. And it's just resisting. It's just not starting. And it's feeling a little bit frustrating. So let's go now to what is the masculine energy carrying in from the past? What is masculine energy carrying in from the past? We have the Four of Swords. This is the energy of no communication and no contact whatsoever, silence, but it's also faith. And it's about healing. It's about having put things on pause in order to sort yourself out. Um, Trusting that the prayers that you have prayed are being answered in some fashion, in some form. In this depiction, we see the silent sister. So they literally are completely silent as they prepare bodies to transition from death into the afterlife. And so I think that there has been a period of grief for this masculine grief, maybe around being silent. Let's clarify that. Yeah. So we're clarifying it here with the Two of Cups and the elephants that never forget. And the Two of Cups is about like meeting up in person. It's about just harmony and love between two people, two full cups being able to share together. And so I do think that there is this in the sense that even though there hasn't been communication, or even though there's been a period of grief, maybe you've had to say goodbye to someone or some idea of like some connection or relationship that you thought you would have, and it grieved you to go through this. But you've not forgotten it, and you did it in order to basically heal from whatever had happened in the past between you and another person. And it's actually ended up bringing you a lot of enlightenment in your life and really helped you to, I think, form solid ideas about what you want and what you desire in love relationships. And the person that you're focused on has also experienced this and gone through this. That's pretty normal. Like, right, there's maybe somebody that your person isn't talking to, or maybe your person isn't talking to you. And it's because they're healing some of these ideas that they have around relationships in a general sense. You maybe have had this period of no contact because you needed to do this. Even though you told yourself that you were ready for love, for some reason there was just some stuff that really still needed to be addressed, and that's what's been going on. So that is what is being carried in. The repercussions of being silent, when what you really wanted to do was meet up in person with someone. Okay, so that's where the masculine energy is. Feminine energy, what are you carrying in from the past? We have here the Eight of Coins. We see a masculine energy focused on work. Okay, clarifying that card, we have the Fool. So lone wolf energy here, with the wolf being depicted in this Fool card, and rabbit is giving me somebody that is like probably very fertile, or they've like experienced a lot of experiences around fertility, if you know what I'm saying. They like to get busy with other people. So that's coming up to me. So what I'm seeing is what the feminine is carrying in is that in the past, she has either attracted people who are focused on work, kind of doing their own thing on their own, wanting this lone wolf energy, and probably fertilizing the countryside, so to speak. And divine feminine's ideas about masculine energy being this way and doing this, being kind of foolish here, because the Fool in this case, it often represents a new beginning. I'm getting zero sum is coming to me. Zero sum. I don't know why that is coming to my mind, but I'm thinking that. While it does represent a new beginning frequently, in this instance, I think it actually is just the meaning of the card, like just foolish. Foolishly, this person focused on their job, they focused on money, and they focused on, other less savory energy here, and just thought they could do it all on their own. Now, the way that this works for you internally is that you might actually feel that you had to start over, and you had to come up with a new idea or craft, and you've been really busy working on that craft because maybe what you were doing before wasn't working. And so what you're carrying in is that you're starting from a fresh place. You're building something new, you're working on something new. And it's probably because the energy that you were focused on before was completely silent, wasn't talking to you. And so you threw yourself into work. They were throwing themselves into work to avoid the connection. And you were like, okay, well, two can play at that game. I will throw myself into my work. I will ignore everything else. And it looks like that might be what has happened. So, what's the current energy for this masculine? We have the Temperance card, Samwise, or not Samwise. I always say that because the Hobbit, but his name is Sam. He's focusing on, he's studying. He's actually reading all of these books within the libraries that he's in, trying to get as much information as he can to prevent the end of the world. Okay. So it's no small job that he has, and he's very dedicated and devoted to it. Temperance is about healing, which coming with the Four of Swords, and we went through a time of healing, and then seeing here the Temperance card, it's showing me that yes, that masculine energy is carrying in that healing energy from the past, and it's currently with him. He is patiently learning something, and the Temperance card is about also divine intervention. It's about like this peace or calm, or taking all of your emotions and like never being too much of anything, like allowing yourself to experience a little bit of everything and mixing them all together instead of just one like fiery, passionate place, but kind of being more temperate, being more moderate in your approach. This is coming up with the Ten of Swords. Ooh, okay. So that makes a lot of sense. This Ten of Swords shows this certain type of bird. I can't remember what type of bird it is, but they actually steal the nest. They steal this nest that belongs to another species of bird, and they claim it as their own. So that's an interesting thing. That's making me feel like this divine masculine is recovering from someone who like took over like their secret or private space, or tried to claim what is the masculines as their own. Something like that is coming through. But basically what I'm seeing is currently there's this painful ending that happened, and most likely it had to do with this Two of Cups that was unfulfilled because there was no communication. And because of that, now this masculine energy feeling sort of bad about not saying anything, not communicating, is now healing from like the effects of it. Maybe there was anger, and divine masculine felt like he needed to give it time for the anger to dissipate, for things to be more level, be more calm, and be more peaceful. Or maybe he just needed time to come to peace with an ending of a past relationship. Maybe something to do with the codependency that we saw in his past. But there's pain and there's healing, and all of that has to happen in order for you to move away from the stuck energy of the Ten of Swords. So, Divine Feminine, what is your current energy here? We have the Nine of Wands, and that is actually coming out with the Queen of Cups. And this is showing me that Divine Feminine is also in that same energy of healing. In her case, she is protecting her energy, right? She has poured into her cup. She has filled her cup, and now she is protecting it. She is not giving this cup away easily. She is not pouring out compassion on every which way, and neglecting herself. She is absolutely protecting and defending this beautiful energy that she's cultivated within herself of self-care, self-love, protecting her feelings. Now, this can translate for another person, protecting your feelings, as not wanting to reveal your feelings because you don't want to do anything that's going to rock the boat. So, this is kind of just keeping things to yourself and like honoring your feelings and sensations, and not worrying so much about how others might be thinking or feeling about how you choose to protect yourself. You're more concerned with your stability, I think, than you are with people pleasing. So I like that a lot. And what's clarifying those two cards is the Strength card. So this is very beautiful because it actually does take quite a lot of strength to withhold the love and compassion that she actually just automatically feels for people. It's taking her quite a lot of effort to keep focusing that energy back on herself because she has so much love to give. But there has been this period where she's given a lot of love and it hasn't been received. And so because of that now, she's just more guarded in her energy. Now, I think this is also true for another person. That's why I say don't associate this with gender when I'm saying feminine or masculine energy, because I think your person is also here. I think they have experienced enough suffering in the past, and they have experienced enough of a situation where their feelings, their compassion, or whatever might have been used against them, or they might have been taken advantage of in some way. And so I do think the same kind of energy would exist whether you're masculine in gender or feminine in gender. Okay. So for the masculine energy, we have the Four of Swords and we have Temperance. This is somebody who's not saying anything and they're focusing on just maintaining the peace for themselves. Maybe they're focusing on actual studies right now. That could be a person that's like, I just need to be quiet. I need to keep my nose in the books. I need to study. I need to gain this knowledge. Or I don't want to do anything that could like upset anybody. I don't want to cause anger. I don't want to cause a disturbance. So I'm just going to stay very quiet, very peaceful. So where is this going to take this masculine energy? Not so great. It's kind of pushing the masculine into the devil energy, which is obsessive, watching and not actually doing anything. And this also is referencing the past of the codependency issues that the masculine had. So it seems, as frustrating as this is, especially because it's been a long time since I did a reading and I would have loved to have seen a different outcome here today. It does really seem like this masculine energy is still not quite able to leave the watching and waiting energy. Now, the only positive thing I can say is it's coming out with the Temperance card. So it's literally coming out. It's in the current energy here from this deck. And now it's telling me that the future is bringing that Temperance energy in to counter this tendency the masculine has to focus on bodily gratification, physical intimacy, lust, energy, just imagining all of the hot and heavy things that could happen without actually following through and having the relationship where those things could take place. So I do think it's pretty positive that while this masculine energy is kind of mentally putting himself, if he doesn't say anything, if he doesn't speak, if he continues to just like keep himself focused, in this energy of, oh, I don't want to get hurt again. I have to keep myself from experiencing grief over losing a connection or things not working out. Then what that does is that puts you or another person in an obsessive energy where you want to have gratification, but you don't give it to yourself. And so you just like focus on the other person in a way that doesn't allow true intimacy, but that's not satisfying. So you just keep like feeding that desire. The Temperance card is meant to balance that, though. It is meant to help cool what is too hot. So even though this masculine is headed mentally into the same place that has been repeating over and over again, the heart is not going to allow that to happen. Now, if Temperance comes in and cools the Devil card, we end up with pleasure that's appropriate. We end up with someone who's able to keep themselves from becoming too fixated or obsessive or watching too much or being very afraid of the feelings that they have. This masculine energy might be experiencing a ton of fear about feeling this pull, this attraction, this desire, this lust. And the Temperance card is here to help them quell the fear. You don't have to be afraid. This is a divine connection. It's a divine union. It's a divine mission. And so there's no reason to fear. So I do have I do have two final cards that we're going to look at to kind of round out all of this energy, because I feel like this is kind of a dissatisfying result. Like, we don't know what he's going to do. So we might pull actually an action card to see what he will do with this energy. But let's finish off with the feminine energy here before we do that. So where is her past energy and her current energy leading her into in the future? I can't get rid of this card, guys. Oh my gosh. The Ace of Pentacles, Ace of Coins in this deck. This is a seed that has been planted and it is taking root. And the thing about a seed being planted and taking root is that you might be tempted to sit there by the garden and watch and wait for those first shoots of life to come up so you can have proof. Let me see what this card is. But don't get stuck doing that. The Eight of Swords. Okay, so the risk for the feminine energy here is she has planted a seed and she knows that this is going to result in something new. But her old ideas, her old thoughts, the old patterns that she's had have the potential to hold her back from being able to see the fulfillment of this seed starting to blossom. Because if you're constantly thinking about what happened before, right? Well, before, the masculine energies threw himself into his work and he didn't, he's a lone wolf and he slept around and he didn't actually come forward. If you get stuck and your heart is really experiencing a lot of pain from that experience, if you get stuck here, it's going to be difficult for your mind to be able to help you create that new life that you're trying to create. So be wary of the tendency for you to be like, this is what always happens, and to continue to tell those old stories, because something about those old stories is exactly what is keeping you in this waiting pattern. Okay. Now, I'm going to split the deck to see what action the masculine is going to take, and then I'll split the deck to see what action the feminine is going to take, just to stay balanced. Okay? So, here, I'm going to pick this deck up, and we are going to split it. Oh my gosh, I saw her right before. That's so funny. So, Queen of Pentacles. Lady, I can't think of her name. Lady something. It's Marjorie's grandmother. The Thorn, Queen of Thorns, I think she's called, or something like that. Anyways, I'm going to pull this card out. So this action is interesting. Now, the action of a Queen of Pentacles is to be a nurturer. It's to be able to tap into all the abundance that's around you. And in this particular case, I feel like there's a potential that this masculine energy might ask for advice from their mother or from a maternal type of an energy. They might go to them and say, what do I do? This is, I started this with happiness. I know that I could be happy. But this lingering energy here of the Five of Pentacles, where I've experienced, this energy of poverty before, or someone who was dependent upon me before, I'm really afraid of that. And I don't quite know what to do. It's also choosing to see the feminine energy as this Queen of Pentacles. She's capable. She's independent. She can take care of herself. She does take care of herself. You don't have to have a ton of money to be somebody who knows how to take care of yourself or take care of others, for instance. And I feel like this person might just embrace that the feminine energy that they are thinking of is the one for them. And they are going to choose to believe that this person isn't going to hurt them the way that they've been hurt in the past. And they're going to give them that offer of this Ace of Coins that we see here, so that she actually has something substantive to hold on to. So I actually see that as a pretty good action. That gives me hope. Okay, same thing. What kind of action is the feminine energy going to take? We'll split the deck. Prince of Arrows. Okay, so the Prince of Arrows in this deck is the energy of, it's Cupid, actually. And I believe that this is a Page of Swords type of an energy. So this is somebody who's just going to communicate directly. She's going to remain curious and not allow some of the confusion here with the clouds represented, not allow the uncertainty to overpower her desire to watch and see what happens. So I don't think this is about the feminine energy suddenly reaching out. I do think that if your person is, if it's time for them to reach out, their heart is going to tell them to do so. It's going to say, you don't need to know exactly what you're doing or how you're doing this. You just need to do it. You just need to be brave and just do it. So I think that what that might translate to, if you are in a connection and you're waiting for somebody to make a move, you are kind of content right now in terms of action to just watch and wait and see what they're going to do. This is the energy of, I'm going to let this person show me that they're right for me. I'm not going to try to force it. I'm not going to try to direct it, take charge of it. This isn't the Queen of Swords energy, right? This is Page of Swords. I'm going to watch and see. I'm waiting, and I know that my ships are here. I know they're here. I can see them right there on the horizon. And so all I need to do is just wait and see how this unfolds. And I think that's wise for the feminine energy. Okay, now let's get their oracles. We can close this out. I cannot believe I keep seeing the same things. It's so interesting. All right, divine masculine energy here for you. We have the spirit animal that is coming out for you today is the whale. And the whale I always associate with communication, with singing, music. It's ancient, it's wise, it's water, it's emotion. It's been here for a long time. It is a massive and complex creature, right? It is a huge. This in particular, this is a blue whale. This is as big as it gets. Or is that a humpback whale? I don't know. I'm not great at identifying whales. Sorry, people. Regardless, it's a big ass whale. It's huge. So I do think that this relationship to this person is very significant. To you, whatever you're focusing on right now, it's feeling very significant. So the whale card says, desire to delve deeper, profound peace and ancient wisdom. The whale represents profound emotional health and stability. Whale personalities are not afraid of emotional expression or traversing difficult terrain, as they have overcome many challenges in their lives. These experiences have enriched them, given them stability, strength, and a depth that is rare. Whale energy is usually linked to the feminine forces of compassion and communication. We can depend on whale personalities when all else seems lost and trust them to be a beacon in our darkest hour. When in balance, calm, steady, deeply compassionate. When out of balance, heavy, slips into old story. We literally talked about this today. And to bring into balance, regular self-care. Okay, so the masculine energy is taking wisdom from the feminine energy and applying it to themselves, bringing themselves into balance. This is somebody who is likely to be enacting more self-care than they probably have in the past. This is also the divine masculine learning from the feminine energy's fears, right? The feminine energy has the potential of slipping into the old story. But right now, your mind is, after seeing this reading and processing this information, your mind is now going to be more acutely aware of when you're doing that. If you are thinking, why is this happening again? What does this mean? You know, why do I keep experiencing this? Then that means you're slipping into an old story. And that's when doing things like self-care and starting to focus on yourself and kind of get yourself out of that loop and pattern thinking, that is going to cause a new story to unfold. Because if you're continuing to act as you always have, you're going to keep seeing the same things over and over and over again. It is unpleasant, to say the least. So feminine energy, spirit animal, we have here. Now we had water. Now we have earth energy. We have hyena. Now the hyena is known for, it's kind of vicious. And but I also always think of it laughing. It's laughter. And I'm actually going to have to look because I've not I don't think I've gotten this card before. So let's take a look. Hyena. Humor, wit, and sarcasm. Yeah. So so in other words, divine feminine, you got to have a good sense of humor to get through this phase here. The hyena personality is a jokester and crowd pleaser, but below the surface there are unfulfilled dreams to be realized. When the hyena card appears, it is time to reflect on your reliance on sarcasm and humor to express your truth. Are you using jokes to hide old resentments in relationships or to mask things that you feel uncomfortable discussing? Ooh, I'm seeing you say something relatively serious to somebody that you really want them to address and typing LOL after it, right? Instead of really honoring and respecting the fact that you deserve really serious consideration, you're trying to lighten the load that you believe that you're bringing to this person. And the clock, it's 1:44 on the clock right now as I'm saying that. So you literally feel like you have to be less, you have to be lighter, you can't be so heavy. This is somebody who's concerned about, like, maybe you just met somebody recently and it's in the early stages and you don't want to appear too serious. But what's happening is that you're actually just uncomfortable with your desire, with your passion, and maybe with your own needs, maybe with what your own needs are. And so this is telling you need to be much more, I guess you need to not worry so much about being palatable, right? So what would happen if you took your goals seriously? So let's say that this person that's just come into your life, because I'm getting a sense that this might be about a new person. This doesn't have a heavy feeling of an older energy. To me, it might be the energy of a new person that you've recently met. Maybe you really do want a much more serious connection. But you're afraid to talk about that because you don't want that person to leave already without getting a sense of who you are. And you're afraid, like, they're going to think it's too soon if I say X, Y, or Z, something like that. So what would happen if you took your goal seriously? Like, how would you communicate differently to this person? So when in balance, it means charming, witty, fun to be around. When out of balance, scrappy, petty, suspicious, and to bring into balance, interestingly, sobriety. Now, to have the temperance card come out against the devil card twice on both sides of it, and then for sobriety to be mentioned, there may actually be people here with issues with addiction and sobriety coming up. But if that doesn't fit you, then it's just simply what this card is suggesting, like to be more sober about your approach to your connection with this person. If you really want to have a long-term serious commitment, don't tell people you're comfortable with a short-term casual one. You just need to honor what your needs are. The right person is going to match them. The wrong person is not going to be able to do that, and they're going to do you a favor by immediately revealing what their intentions are. If there's somebody that just wants a casual relationship and you get too serious and they fuck off, that person is not for you, for you, not in any way, shape, or form. Okay, let's look at the final cards we have for the masculine energy here. We have this North Node future card. Now, I like these cards because they give you an action. Both of these actions are for you. You don't listen to one and go, oh, this action is for my person. That's not how it works. Both of these actions are for you. All right, let's take a look. This is number 34. It says, I love this deck. This is the Star Codes Astro Oracle, and I really like it because it teaches you all the different astrological signs and placements. It's very helpful. So this says the North Node or ascending node represents a place the soul longs to be where fate beckons. This is uncharted territory. You don't have a map. The North Node calls you to territory that doesn't have a particular charge and can either be an exciting exploration or start off a bit bland and become more satisfying as you proceed. The lunar nodes are the points on the zodiac where the moon's orbit crosses the ecliptic. When the moon, sun, and earth exactly line up here, a shadow mysteriously covers the sun or moon and creates an eclipse. The ancients thought a giant creature cast those shadows and referred to the nodes as the head and tail of a dragon. The point where the moon heads north is called the north node, the dragon head, and calls you forward. The action here is to think about where you'd like to be and what you'd like to be doing in 10 years and make this a beacon that guides you through the time in between. So, this is what the masculine energy should be doing. So, this is what your mind should be doing right here. Notice what piques your curiosity. That's something that excites and beckons you, even if it's unfamiliar. Practice beginner's mind and learn the basics. Some people may resist your change and tell you to stay in your lane, but that is just their discomfort talking. Advisors, friends, or employees who were once perfect for you may no longer be the companions you need on this fresh path. If they truly wish the best for you, they will eventually celebrate as your world expands. If your field of expertise feels too small or confined, branch out and explore new territory. Along this path are people you need to meet and situations that push you out of your comfort zone and call you to your soul's growth. The challenge is it can be scary to leave familiar territory. Even people who love you may resist your evolution if it could pull you away from them. The gift is that new beginnings dawn and your fate awaits. This path may start out with uncertainty, but it will become more solid and delicious as it progresses. I love that advice and so needed to hear that. All right, for the feminine energy, and this is your other part of yourself, the other action you need to take this week. This is the 5th house. It is passion. It is number 43, which is the opposite of 34. That is a rare thing that happens. I love it when that synchronicity takes place. So this is literally the mirrored energy of the action for the masculine. So we have here passion, 5th house. If your chart was a village map, the 5th house might be the outdoor cafe on the square where romance hovers, teenagers meet, and children run around the edges. Music wafts, a poet speaks. Here people take risks. The 5th house speaks of our capacity to love in the form of affairs, romance, self-expression, creative processes, investments, and performance. The action is ponder your loves and longings, whatever activates your heart, and ask yourself what you love enough to share with the whole world. The 5th house asks you to believe in yourself and put this activated heart into action. Think of what activates the sparkly magic you feel when your artistic muse plays with you. Remember what stirs the first twinkle in the eye of a new relationship, the luminous quality of the beginnings of a love affair. No matter your age, your inner adolescence sparks your creative process. To nurture that spark, be playful. Grab a spontaneous moment and let your imagination wander. Look for a work culture that encourages playful, creative risk-taking and adventurous collaboration and exploration. I would also say look for a romance like that. This is where the juicy new ideas arise. To form a good foundation for partnership, don't skip the courtship. Don't skip the courtship. If you're here and if you're one of the people that resonated with like a new love coming in, and you're in this 3 of Wands energy, which is like you can see the family, the house, the lifestyles together, the vacations you're gonna go on, all of the events, the meet the parents, the reunions, the birthdays. If you are going on a date or you're sitting waiting for somebody to communicate with you, and your eyes are fixed on that horizon and everything that's coming in the future, then you're missing your triumph. You're actually missing the triumph here. You have come into contact with somebody who is absolutely meant to be in your world. North Node tells you that. Passion tells you that. And what you're doing is you're focusing on the completion where you are together and everything's all solid and you've got a ring on your finger or what, if that's what you want. And you just know for certain there's no uncertainty, there's no mystery there. Do you know that's the point when most marriages start to fall apart? When the mystery is gone, when the sparks have died out, you're literally standing here looking into the future, like hoping for that moment that everything's already been lived. Have you ever thought about it that way? Because I think that is something that's going on right now. This is telling you, don't skip this courtship. Don't skip the best part. The best part is when you're learning someone new, when you're feeling new relationship energy, when you're kind of walking on the clouds and not able to focus on your homework. Like, that's like the good parts. Don't skip that. Don't skip that. There's no point. Society has told you that getting the thing makes you happy, but you're whatever age you are right now. Let me ask you, do do a little bit inventory. When was the last time that getting the thing that you wanted stopped you from wanting something else, wanting something more, wanting something new? It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. The reason that your ego has these desires are because there is a version of you in a timeline that experienced what your ego is now curious about. And that version of you reflects back on the time when you first came into contact, started to be curious about it, and it was the best time of that version of you, of your life. Don't skip it. Okay. It says, learn how to bring each other joy and come back to renew that spark in the years ahead for the exact reason that I said, because eventually you will have it all. Excuse me. Eventually you will have it all. You'll have everything: the house, the car, the children, the dogs, whatever, the trip to Barbados. You're going to have all of that. You're going to have that. And you're going to need to recreate the feelings that you have right now again. 155 when I'm saying this. And you're going to have to change your idea of what makes you happy, because you're going to have changed. If you don't have this skill now in the early days of your courtship, God bless you if you end up actually getting into a committed relationship with somebody, because you have to be able to recreate what you're skipping. How can you do that if you've skipped it? The fifth house also speaks of the children of the heart, of the arts, and of the body. The desire for a child, a love affair, the first stirrings of a book or sculpture, or the first notes of a song are the sparks for this creation. The fifth house asks you to take a risk, and you may need to invest in materials and be disciplined to manifest your desires. The challenge is bring your inner adolescent out to play, but watch that it doesn't get stuck in a self-centered place, swept up in the thrill of creation, and damn the consequences. The gift is let your light shine, let it be a gift to all the world. Your instructions are to play, create, love, inspire, and just be glorious. Now, I absolutely had to hear this message today, so I hope that this message helped you as much as it definitely just helped me right now. I have some readings available, and I also have new services available if you go to turnedintarot.com. But if you would like to experience my center and get a sense of what that's like, and also volunteer to be a part of it or become a seed member, please go to intuitiveliving.info. If you become a member for $5 a month, that's one of the best ways you can support me to be able to continue to do this work, which I had to put a pause in because I couldn't do both things at the same time because I don't have a staff. So I need a staff. If you're interested in working with me, with the center, please let us know. We're heading into funding stages right now. We have a huge budget for the tech department alone. We need to come up with $2.5 million a year. And that's not any part of the center except for just the tech. So that's our model that's being developed. That's our back end for our membership platform. Everything that we are creating, it's going to be quite an investment of time and energy, but it's going to be fun. If you've ever been part of building something new, a startup, it can be very exciting. I am not expecting people to work for free, so don't think it's going to be a situation where I just give you a bunch of work and you do it for no return. What I'm looking for is the team that I can show is ready to go once we have funding. So if you're interested in being part of that, please hit me up. I also have a new sound immersion service. I have recorded this really beautiful 528 piece, and I have some visualizations that go with it, and they can be customized based on your specific needs. So you can have a 1-hour session with me, and we can research what kind of a visualization will work best for you. I will have you record it, and then I will put it into the track for you. Or if you're not if you're not wanting to do the reading with me to figure out what visualization you should do, and you just know what you want to visualize, you can get in touch with me. I will help you script it and send you the recording. So there was not an hour face-to-face session. It's more of an email-based thing. Go check that out. You can see those services available on my page. Please send donations. Please become a member today. Please Please, please help me sustain myself. It has been a long 5 years of begging, and I don't want to be in the energy of begging anymore. I want to be in the energy of being open and receiving. So show me that that what I'm believing in is possible. All right, everybody. I don't know when I'll see you again. I lately I have been really craving doing readings, so maybe I'll be here regularly. But if not, there's hundreds and hundreds of videos here on Tuned In Tarot. All of them are timeless, so please go through those and go ahead and randomly select one. I'm sure you'll get the messages you need, or book a personal session. That's the best way to get exactly what you need from me. Take care, everybody. Have a great day.